the day, a 3,000-mile review of our Sumo Springs, a closet rod, and a major channel announcement. This is Yeti at Large, a channel focused on making the most out of what you have, no matter where you're at. Now that you're here, let's go! Few things are likely to engender more strife in the RV community than a good old-fashioned debate about towing capacity, pin weight, cargo, gross vehicle weight, and axle load. Well, we carefully calculated the amount of trailer we want to go with the vehicle we have, and I have a supreme level of confidence. You can see me here going through Hoover Dam. If you've ever driven that, you know. However, there's a little bit of chucking that took place, just about an inch more of squat than I wanted, and I wanted something to butter the ride, if you will, a little bit. I wasn't interested in putting airbags on the truck and adding 150 pounds of weight. So, after doing a little bit of research, I found a good solution to what we needed.
Here at Yeti at Large, we just received our Sumo Springs for our 2020 GMC half-ton truck. These won't change the numbers, but they'll certainly improve the ride. Full video coming soon on our Sumo Springs. Journey better.
Now, I'm a gear junkie and I buy tools I don't necessarily need just because they're cool. But I strongly believe in getting the right amount of truck, the right amount of trailer, and making sure that the application fits the need, the load, and the expectations. I won't come within 75% of the published load rating in any dimension on my vehicle. I want that extra cushion of safety. So that being said, let's get these installed, and then we'll talk about them on the flip side.
So it was 16 degrees outside last night. I've turned on a space heater, that's reading 38, left my tank warmers on. And I'm taking my new Sumo Springs and warming them up a little bit in front of our electronic fireplace, because the thought is they'll be much warmer and more pliable to be able to slip into the cup that these popped out of. I just used this short little screwdriver and very gently wiggled it up in there and they popped right out. I don't expect the new ones will go in that easy. Important safety message. You never work on a vehicle supported by a hydraulic jack lift. You only get underneath it when it's supported by at least two of the correct weight and size jack stands. These are under the frame, which is allowing the rear differential to drop to make more room for our Sumo Springs, but not so much room that I'm overstretching the shocks or the wiring harnesses. This gives me a good opportunity to check my bearings by rattling my U-joints, my pinion seals, my muffler hanger, etc., etc., etc. So the driver's side felt like it popped right in, but the passenger side, I just twist and twist, and I still have this little gap that keeps wiggling out. So I got me 3 little 2x4 blocks. We're going to use the jack stand, raise the rear end up, get a little compression on there, and seat it properly. I don't want to lose this going down the freeway. So the truck is back on the ground, and this is the gap that we measured. I wanted that 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches in between the stop and the Sumo Springs. I believe that will mean the ride is unchanged when I'm not hauling anything, but the minute I do, the 2.5 inches of bed compression the truck experiences when we're loading it, these Sumo Springs will engage and work just like a dampener, a rubber baby buggy bumper. Full road test coming soon.
As we hitched up, the first thing I noticed, the springs reduced the bed drop by about 7/8 of an inch, which is desirable. They went over the washboards at the Las Vegas exit off of I-40 admirably. They reduced chucking, pogoing, and generally increased the ride comfort. Out here on the Great Basin Highway, I noticed I was riding level, smoother, and quieter. I triple-checked my axle and tire temperatures, and they were all equal and nominal. Now you'll notice these tires were an upgrade, one of the other options we did to this truck to improve the ride quality, knowing we weren't going to change the numbers. Now I'm not sponsored, but these springs made a tremendous and measurable improvement in my ride quality and the enjoyability of the tow. I'm very excited, and my next question is, do they make a product that can go on the fifth wheel as well? Satisfied our springs were sorted, after we were leaving the Gold Canyon Resort in Apache Junction, Arizona, it was time for the curtain rod to get swapped out.
Like so much of how the RV is designed and constructed, the entire closet rod is held up by little screws. And what strikes me as odd, this is just a stamped piece of sheet metal, and I'm guessing the concept was that the notches stop the clothes and the brakes stop the clothes from sliding back and forth. I just don't see that being a problem that needs to be solved necessarily when 90% of the torsional load is front to back. Anyway, the combination of these 8 screws holding it in, all about a 1/2 inch long, into what's effectively a MDF, I just don't see, even with 8 screws combined, I don't see that being strong enough to hold the typical load people would put on this, and I see it ripping out. We're going to replace that 48-inch bracket with a 48-inch dowel and hang it with something just a touch more substantial. So there is a very simple install. This is smooth. That bump obviously could get in the way of a tote, but not so bad. I minimized it and there's no sharp edges. A nice fat fender washer there, one there. I used one of the old original screws on either side to work like a stop so the dowel won't slide, and when I tightened it I clocked the eye bolt just a little bit. Got one in the middle and then one on this far end. This is as strong as the shelf is going to be with the wood on it. So the major channel announcement, I'm sure the 36 of you that are watching this are on the edge of your seat. The major channel announcement is, after a year of careful consideration and entry into the RV lifestyle, I am no longer going to participate in any endeavors to become professionally involved in the RV industry. I'm not going to seek any kind of credentialing from training. I'm not going to get involved with a specific manufacturer and representing, and I'm certainly not going to look for any kind of a position in sales. The reason being is there's a massive disconnect. A disconnect between the people that I've met out on the road and in the RV park and some of the people I've met through social media versus the other side of the coin and what I'm seeing with some of the channels in social media, some of the incredible frustrations and anger towards manufacturers, service, and salespeople. There's a tremendous disconnect, and I just got out of an industry where integrity was everything. I took note that recently the RV governing industry, informal body, lobbied hard against increasing regulations that would have provided a basic safety net of consumer resources for customers, the same resources that automotive manufacturers have to provide. They lobbied hard against that, saying that it would drive costs up, cost jobs, etc., and there might be some truth to that. However, when I see the rancor that people have and hear the stories of the frustrations with buying new units that don't function and service, RV service jail and warranty issues, etc., I'm not going to be a part of that. So part of what my beef with the industry stems from something somebody said to me. I don't think they meant it like I took it, but that's the problem with communication. You can't control the way people receive your message. This was an individual very high up in leadership in a prominent RV manufacturing outfit, and they were trying to explain the nature of the RV industry to me, and they told me, you need to think like hostage negotiations. And that struck me in a multitude of ways. A, being in public safety and actually trained in hostage negotiations and barricaded subjects with life and death consequences, I found the statement to be very unkind. We'll leave it at that. And that rubbed me the wrong way. But looking at how they meant it and seeing the inner workings of an executive level individual in the RV industry, that they view the customers as a hostage, themselves as a hostage, the RV as the hostage, that is no basis to have a positive and working professional relationship with your clientele in your industry. While I really do like being part of the RV community and I love the adventures and the travels,
I will not be part of an industry that views itself as being engaged in hostage negotiations with its clientele. We are going to continue posting RV lifestyle and travel and projects that we do with the RV. That's the fun stuff, but it's all going to be self-contained. There's going to be no interest in working for a manufacturer, participating on a game show, or being involved in sales or service at any level. I am going to focus, though, on aviation. I've had a lifetime passion for aviation. It's always taken a backseat to bigger life issues that needed to happen. And now, at this stage in my life and the location where I'm living is a fantastic aviation hub, and I have opportunities. We're going to continue to do interesting stories about current events in history. We're going to do a lot of cooking, and we're going to continue with RV lifestyle, travel, tips, tricks, and projects. If you have a request, we're a viewer-driven channel. Please leave a comment down below, and we'll make every effort to get to that request. To date, I've only got one request I haven't fulfilled yet, and I'm still working on it, but it's a tough one. If you're still watching, thank you very much. Yeti at large.